Assalamu alaikum. Sulaiman Rahim here. Welcome. Welcome to Critique. Critique is where we discuss, hopefully, briefly, topics of the day, current events, special events, scripture, relevant events. So today, we're going to do division redux. This is a redux of a presentation I did a day or so ago. I want to augment it a little bit, make sure it's very clear what the point of it was. So we're not going to delay. We're going to get into it quickly. I'm going to keep it as short as possible. August 21st. August 21st is my 51st anniversary of the time I got my ex in Temple 25, Newark, New Jersey, 1970, August 21st. I believe that's 51 years ago. Never thought anything like this would be going on 51 years later. I wasn't even sure I'd be here 51 years later. I thought if you reach 50, that was about long enough. Because my father, he just made 40, and he actually passed on that day, August 21st, 1963. Excuse me, 1963. So if that's 51, that means 58 years ago he passed on August 21st. So just thought I'd mention that. 51 years ago. That's a half a century. But that might be a lot now, but in the hereafter, those 51 years will be nothing. Anyway, let's move into the presentation, brothers and sisters. In this presentation, we're comparing two, I usually don't do this, but I'm comparing two different verses. I'm comparing the one about the son of perdition and the one about bringing division. And we'll show you how these two work together. Because all these verses work together. And maybe one day I'll have a presentation show how they all fit, because that's a puzzle in itself. Because each one gives you different aspects of the situation. I mean, I did one previously where I showed about the before and after. I was comparing these, I think the chapter 7 and chapter 14. So I guess, maybe I'll do more of that in the near future. But time is of the essence, because anyone can see all the things that's going on in the world today, right? There's going to be some dramatic changes in a few more days. Okay, let's move on. Okay, pardon me for a second here. Oops. Ooh. A little sound adjustment here. Kind of loud one. Okay. Again, who will survive? Not who will survive. I'm talking about survival, but we're not talking about survival because we're at war, and the question is who will win the war of Armageddon. Two visions, two realities. The biological creation or this electronic, mechanical creation they're hastily trying to bring in. Let's move on. Beacons. Brothers and sisters, those of you who are maybe new, right? Consider what we're talking about and step up. If you have any understanding of this, step up. Help your brothers and sisters out there that's walking around in the darkness, or these clowns that's walking around like FARRAKHAN blocking the light. Have our people walk around the darkness of their shadows. And they're casting from blocking this light. See, we need beacons because this thing is about to blow up. And when it blow up, we're going to need beacons all over the country to show people what to do. See, quickly, because it won't be a time to be hesitating. Won't be a time for tarrying, right? Be serious. It's serious now, but it's going to be very serious, and people will need to know exactly what to do. Exactly. Won't be time for trying to wonder, play around. They will need to know exactly what to do, and that's why we set up beacons all over the country with thorough knowledge of the times and what must be done, to coin a phrase someone made who had no idea what time it was and what must be done. It's laughable. Okay, a little history here, right? Master Prophet Muhammad initiated this situation. A contract made with God, Abraham and God, our forefather, right? 50,000 years ago. He came to remind us of it and to prepare, right, for our eventual return. He left Elijah Muhammad to nurse us as a caretaker, right, to maintain that idea, right, to set up, to restore the foundation. As I said, Elijah restored all things. That means he restored the foundation. See, how everything, you know, our history, language, who we are, so forth and so on. See, and then he will be taken out of the way because they will be plotting against him and a usurper. Aaron, lion FARRAKHAN, will come and try to dismantle, try to destroy the whole idea. That's what Aaron did. He tried to turn people's hearts back to Egypt. And then he would reign for about 42 years. And then would come Suleiman or Joshua or Jesus, Joshua and Jesus, same name, just different languages, and destroy him. The messenger of the covenant, he would fulfill the covenant and deliver our people back in the hands of their God, back home. They're telling you that Elijah is the maternal leader of Islam. No such thing. He never said it. The scriptures never say it. They make up all kinds of stuff. So we're not going to worry about them. But it's laughable. I mean, they got these commercials now. Do you bless Israel? God will bless, and so forth and so on. Talking about false Israel over there. It's sad. They really pushing that lie. But it's about to come crashing down on them. It's going to crash down so hard. The shock of the hour, brothers and sisters, and many of you are going to be caught up in it, right? Because you'll be sitting up in that church when that cross turns to blood, explode, and splatters blood all over you. You find out it was the big scam from the very beginning. See, you didn't get the memo. See, you didn't get the memo. See, they telling you all this stuff. Didn't get the memo. Okay. Let no one deceive you by any means, for that day will not come unless the falling away comes first, and the man of sin is revealed, the son of perdition, who opposes and exalts himself above all that is called God, or that is worshipped, so that he sits as God in the temple of God, show himself that he is God. For the mystery of lawlessness is already at work, until he who now restrains will do so until he is taken out of the way, and the lawless one will be revealed, and the Lord will consume with the breath of his mouth and destroy the brightness of his coming. English, okay? That day will not be not deceived. So in other words, be clear, because somebody's going to be trying to deceive you on this. Who's trying to deceive you on this? That's lying FARRAKHAN, because he, just listen to him. He twists this whole thing around. It says, let no one deceive you by any means. No means, no how. Right? See? For that day will not come unless the falling away comes first. He tells you, no. He switched around. He says he's revealing who the son of perdition is. He claims the son of perdition of Jews. So he's saying that he's revealing who they are, and as a result of that, the falling away comes. That's what he says. See, I know he destroys archives, so you don't keep up with him. That's exactly what he says. So he's switching this around to tell you, don't be deceived by any of that. Because he said that will come first, the falling away. So what are they talking about? Be not deceived by any means. The falling away, the nation of Islam will fall away first. Fall away first. Why? Because he who now restrains, Elijah who is restraining these plotters, FARRAKHAN and Wallace and them, he's taken out of the way. So there's no nation of Islam. There's no leader. They got rid of it. They had some called the Balalians or whatever. There was no nation of Islam. So that's why it fell away. There was no leader. There was no nation of Islam. So that's why I said the falling away comes first, right? And why? Because he was taken out of the way. Elijah Muhammad was taken out of the way, right? Then, okay, so that caused the falling away. And then, right, then the man sin is revealed. What happened? As it was taken out of the way, right, then FARRAKHAN comes back in 1977, right, and now he sits, right, because what it says, he sits in the seat of God. In his temple, Elijah Muhammad had temples, named a mosque now. He had temples. Who established those temples? Master Farad Muhammad. Now he's setting. I'm speaking plain English for you. See? And he's setting himself above all gods. We have a tape of him saying he's a young God and all this stuff. Because he's saying that. He's telling you now. He's telling you he's Jesus. In fact, he actually telling you right now, he's the Son of Man. That's exactly what he's saying. If you watch the last, this is August 21st, 2021. Look at his last two NOI. Well, he got rid of his archives, right? But that's what he's saying. See, I mean, they're still on YouTube if you can find them. His last two, he said, well, he's the Son of Man now, so he's exalting himself above everybody, right? Okay. So, for the mystery of lawless is already at work. See, they're lawless. They're already at work. That's them. And only he who now restrains. See, in other words, they was at work. They was plotting against him. For the mystery of lawless is already at work. Only who now restrains will do so. He's restraining them. They already was doing this. They was setting it up, plotting against him, while Elijah Muhammad was still setting. That's why Elijah Muhammad told FARRAKHAN to his face he was going to be his worst hypocrite. We have the tapes. FARRAKHAN even admits that. It's remarkable. He tells you that Elijah Muhammad told him he was going to be his worst hypocrite. We got a tape saying it. And you still with that man. So that means you're a demon or you're an idiot. He telling you that Elijah Muhammad, he represented Elijah Muhammad. That's what he's saying. But he said also that Elijah Muhammad told him to his face he would be his worst hypocrite. So either you saying Elijah's a liar, right? Because if he's telling the truth, then what you refer to, folks, he's a hypocrite. See? I mean, it can't get simpler than that. And the lawless one who will be revealed, whom the Lord will consume with the breath of his mouth. Remember I said Joshua or Jesus or Suleiman, he would come and he would be consuming him with the breath of his mouth and destroy him with the brightness of his coming. So there's two phases here. Before the brightness of his coming, in other words, when he's manifest the whole world, he would be in the process of consuming, right? Just, consuming, telling the truth on him, exposing him, like it says in Mark, exposing FARRAKHAN. Because no one's doing it like Suleiman was doing it. That's what that is, plain English. And then this one. I come to send fire on the earth, and how I wish it was already kindled. Now we know the earth from the angel represents the European countries. But I have a baptism to be baptized with, and how distressed I am till it's accomplished. Do you suppose I have come to give peace on the earth? No, he ain't come to bring any peace. I will tell you not at all, but rather division. For from now on, five in one house to be divided, 3 against 2, and 2 against 3. Father will be divided against son, son against father, mother against daughter, daughter against mother-in-law, and against her daughter-in-law, and daughter-in-law against her mother-in-law. So we'll explain what that means. See, so I'm going to show you at the end how these two connected. Okay. Because nothing happens until it's accomplished. What he's trying to accomplish, it's not accomplished. See, he says, "I am distressed until it's accomplished." See, that's a baptism. So when until it's accomplished, this has to be accomplished first. Keep that in mind. Okay, this is what this means. See, this is where we are right now. I'm not showing the full thing. I'll show the next page. This is where we are right now. We see America, false Israel, and and Britain, right? See, this represents the mother, this represents the father here, and we see Iran and Syria. They're pushing up. We see the tension between the two, right? Between those two, it's getting greater and greater every day. And this is the wind that's going to blow it and blow the figs. Those figs, because the fig tree represents false Israel, and the figs represents America and Britain. And so that's the 6th seal. You know, this wind's blowing. It's blowing harder and harder every day. It's more tensions building every day, right? That's where we are right now. So, and then, because that represents the war, but it hasn't got hit boiling point. So at some point, right, it gets kinetic, where really gets direct, and that's when America and false Israel and Britain is kicked out of the Middle East. They're kicked out. That's what we talk about chapter 12, right? Where Michael and his angels go to war with the dragon and his angels, and the dragon and angels are kicked out back into the earth, right? Okay. That's what's happening here. This is about to happen. The previous one is where we are. This is what's about to happen. See, notice I call abomination of desolation the one false Israel. Right? Okay, now we see the whole display. Mother, daughter, father, son. And now no one knew what this was before I explained it. But once I explained it, I'm like, well, why are you not calling abomination of desolation the daughter? See, because it'd be 5. And that's very important, 5 against 2. So they said, well, yeah, but no, because that's very important. Because that's going to be gone. When all this happens, that one's going to be gone. See, because a daughter-in-law would be on the same level as the son and daughter. See, if false Israel was a daughter-in-law, then it would be an uncle. Could be on the same level as mother and father. Hope you understand that. See, so in other words, the daughter-in-law would be married to the son, right? Okay, so remember he's bringing division. So the mother is going to be against the daughter and the daughter-in-law, right? And the father is going to be against the son. So 3 against 2, these 3, right, against 2. No, this is the 2 this is 2 everybody's going to be against. These 3 are against these 2, and these 2 are going to be against these 3. We're talking about these 2, father and mother and father, because they're together. American and Britain together in all things, right? They're going to be against these 3. This is Russia, this is the EU, and these are the demons, Christian demons, blacks in America, right? They're demons, right? I ain't saying blacks are demons. I'm saying half the blacks in America are demons. The angel tells us that. They're slave masters' children, and they're Christian. Bam. So once they kicked out, the first thing happens is false Israel was taken out. Bam, it's gone. So now we have the 2 against 3 and 3 against 2. It's only 5 now. That would say it's 5 in one household. That's why I said 5, because they're gone. So it's putting you time, giving you the proper time frame. So it's like this. See? And then this is where they start going against each other. See? Because their division says mother again. See, but it has to be 5. See, now it's 5. Before it was 6, now it's 5. Because false Israel, that's abomination of desolation. That says you see it, run to the mountains, or hell breaks loose. That's the signal for the time of unprecedented trouble. That's how you know. But they don't know what that abomination of desolation is. But they tell you, well, it's time of unprecedented trouble. You have to know what that is. You have to know the signal. You have to really recognize it. And they didn't recognize what I'm telling them. And those were standing with the angel, right? Now they know what that is. Other people don't know unless they're listening. See? So now we have the 5 against 2. I mean 3 against 2 and 2 against 3. So now here's the mother, right? She's against the daughter-in-law and the daughter. You see? And against the son also. But we leave it out because that comes by definition, because mother father together, and the father will be against son, so the father against son and mother, they don't have to say it, right? So there it is. That's when Babylon falls, right? So it's now it's at war, Russia and the EU. See, we also see that taking place in our time because we see the EU and Britain already separated. They're already against each other. They're already against each other. So-called Brexit, that's been playing out for a few years, and that says that's what happened. They were divided because they weren't divided before. Now they're not divided. Remember, it's all about division. And now, see, so now, because if the mother's against the son, the father is too. Remember, they work together. Because 3 against 2, 2 against 3. That's why it says like that there. Because position-wise, the father, right, is up top there. See, that's why it makes that statement. Why are you talking about 3 against 2 or 2 against 3? Because you know that these two, whoever one of them against, right, whoever the mother's against, the father's against 2. Because those are 2 against those 3. Right? So now, Britain is against China. They're at war with China and North Korea. That means America is also. And America is also against Russia and the EU, so is Britain. Right? So, and let me back up here for a second. And let me back up here a little more. Oops, no, I'm going the wrong way. See this right? When this goes here, see? That means she's also attacking, America's also attacking the Christian blacks. That gets back to Adam and Eve eating from the tree of good and evil. This is just a tree of evil, knowledge of evil. It's a Christianity. And the other one's tree of good that you're going to see up top here. So they're also attacking them at the same time. That's what this is all about. They're attacking, right? Because as soon as false Israel goes down, right, that means we must be the true seed of Abraham. And so they can attack us immediately, have to. See? Because that means that whole reality changes. The whole concept, the whole sight changes, because all of a sudden they're not the seed of Abraham, they're not the spiritual seed of Abraham. Or if we are, that means they're not good people, they're evil people. Everything they've done is evil. They wasn't doing God's will. It was doing the will of Satan. Okay, so they have to attack, to straighten it out, to clean it up, they have to attack immediately. Okay. So pay close attention now. Also, when this happens, right? Now this one's pregnant because he's got something under. See, so they're pregnant. All those who are pregnant with child, right? Because wrath upon them. That's what's talking about. This one's going to be like that, and so will this one. Because if you look real close, watch closely here. See, it's covering the NOI. So both of these. All these will happen at the same time. It says those, so this is when abomination of desolation takes place. And this is time of unprecedented trouble. And these are the ones that are pregnant with child, because that's what it means, because they got somebody under them. Okay. Oh, well, he's a father. Don't get caught up on the symbols. Okay. So that's what's happening here. Right? So, okay. Now, before I go any further, thing is, this is what he went to accomplish. He says, right, this is baptism. This is what he says, right? He'd be distressed until it's accomplished. So this is now father against son, mother against daughter, daughter-in-law, right? So now that's accomplished. He says distress till it's accomplished. That's phase one, right? See, so now this is accomplished. So now this situation, right? So now it's accomplished. Now this is the point, right? This how it connects up with son of addition, because that was two phases. First, he was consuming. We're going to talk about that more a little second in a minute. He was consuming the son of perdition, FARRAKHAN, his demons, spirit of his mouth, and destroy him with the brightness of his coming. So now that's two phases. So now this is a transition phase right here, because I beheld the thrones were cast down with thrones. That's the laborers and so-called laborers under FARRAKHAN's NOI, right? And the Ancient of Days just said that Suleiman again. Remember, he was distressed until he's the one talking. Suleiman's talking, right? See, whose garment was white as snow and hair like pure wool, nappy. Well, FARRAKHAN says the Son of Man, but his hair is not nappy, so I guess he's gonna get a hair transplant, right? Okay, and he's also gray-headed. Now, I mean, he probably gray-headed, he colors hair, right? But this person shows up, he's going to be nappy-headed and gray-headed. So he's not a young person. Plus, he's Ancient of Days. That means he's he's not only elderly, but he's also restoring back to how things used to be, right? We're going to return to this to restoration, right? So he's back, Ancient of Days. All this BS that's going right now, all this going to be wiped away. All things we made new, right? And his throne was like fiery flame and wheels burning fire. That's not the mother plane. That's talking about Daniel. I'm not. This is a Daniel's verse here. That's talking about when he was in the furnace, right? So because we're still in America. That's what I'm trying to tell you. A fiery stream issued and came forth before him, and thousand ministered him. 10,000 times 10,000 stood before him, and judgment was set, and the books were opened. See, it's a judgment. It's going to take place right here. That's why I said that fire flame right here in America. America is the furnace. Judgment will take place right here. See, so before you destroy something, you got to judge it. This is a transition phase. See, between he bringing about division, right, and during the time that the demons are being consumed. See, with spirit of his mouth, and then destroy. There's three phases here. Three phases. You got the initial phase where he says he's bringing fire upon the earth, right? You got the transition phase where he's consuming, right? And then you got the final phase where he's destroyed. So we're going to look at that in the next. Okay. I beheld till thrones were cast down. See. So this is the point, right, where the judgment is set, right, because the four winds is blown, right, and all blacks come together, the chaff as well as the wheat, all come together. You see up top there. You see. So because he came to the NOI, now he's raised them up. The four winds are blown. He raised them up, right? See, he's setting what that's taking place because the judgment. This was judgment was set, and then, right? It says every eye will see him. Now this is the point of time where he's made manifest, because he said the brightness of his coming. He said and that's the bright. That's what I mean. The brightness of his coming. So now he just came right there. And that's where, right, it says that that's where he would destroy the son of perdition. See? He would destroy. Say he would destroy with the brightness of his coming. That's what said every eye will see him. And if the demons, all blacks are together at that point. The demons, and also that's where it said he come in the clouds. Well, the demons also represent the clouds. So he come in the clouds and every eye will see him. Okay? That's the judgment. And that's where he destroys them. That's where he destroys them. See, the clouds are down there. That's also demons. That's also Lion FARRAKHAN. See? And the lawless one will be revealed, whom the Lord will consume with the breath of his mouth or the spirit of his mouth and destroy with the brightness of his coming. That's what's talked about. So what this is telling you is, the way I connect those two, is telling you that Suleiman is on the scene, right? Slaying demons. See, he's on the scene exposing them. That's what it says in Mark. Because that was his exposing. That's what Legion, Louis Eugene Grounds, and NOI back, because he was complaining. Well, he was upset because he had been exposing them. See, he was saying, get out of them demons, he's calling demons out. You see, that was he upset about. So now, then he was destroyed. Because then he said, okay, he let the demons what? What happens? He told them, okay, y'all can go over there with Master, Swine Master, because Master's over there, right? The swine. Say, okay, y'all can go into them. Then they got to fight and they went off the cliff together. That means they were destroyed. They went off the cliff together, destroyed, right? Same story. Okay, brothers, so I just want to show you how to connect those two. See? So, Suleiman's on the scene. He said he would be on the scene destroying demons, but he would be made manifest to the world, right? Until he sets, the age of days he sets. And that's the brightness of his coming, when every eye will see him. So they think it means that it means, everybody's gonna watch him on the internet or TV or something, because they don't know what the hell they're talking about, because they don't know the angel. That's what it means. Because we know this, we know that that the original nation also represents, the blacks also represent. We put like the original nation has 7 eyes, but it's been corrupted. Okay. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. So I was trying to figure out, just do a redux to make sure you're very clear what that means. See? So that's what you should expect. See? Because he will be doing battle with the demons, and then the judgment will come. That's what it says, the chaff and the wheat will be gathered together, and then he separate and throw the chaff out. At that point, that's his manifest to the world. Because he's setting the world, he manifests the world now. See? That's what it says, the brightness, it will be consumed, the brightness of his coming. Okay, brothers and sisters. That's it. Hope you understand, brothers and sisters. Assalamu alaikum.